Coaches, Mike Kuchar, www.xandolabs.com. Just putting the finishing touches on this video tutorial on 3 pass rush games out of the 4 down front. Our defensive line researcher, Coach Mickey Mays, did an excellent job describing his ton, outlaw, and in-law pass rush games concept. He has some video here that correspond to it. The techniques, I'm not going to get into techniques and fundamentals as much. That's in the clinic report itself, which is in the it's on our website, www.xandolabs.com. Here's some video tutorial. Actually, this is from the XFL, which is now defunct. Coach Mays was the defensive line coach for the Philadelphia Soul, and these are excellent images of some of these stunts he ran over there. We're going to start with the ton, which is tackle and nose gap exchange. A couple key coaching points as Coach Mays describes in his report. Tackle's going to take a 45-degree step with the inside foot and rip that outside arm through. What the key is to Coach Mays is laying the head on the lineman's outside shoulder. Okay, what that's going to do is going to delay the guard's spike recognition. He's not going to know it right away, which is going to allow that nose to come over the top, okay, and be the looper. Coach Mays always talks about for the looper, or he calls a wrapper, always to make sure you play with your hands. Okay, to make sure that you're getting hands off and able to penetrate through gaps and make plays. This is a very good job of penetration by that 3 technique. Here comes a nose across and switching gap responsibilities, bearing down on that quarterback, and that's always a great thing when that quarterback's got to move. We got a nice sack there by the nose guard. On this next clip, we have an outlaw pass rush game. This is going to occur between a nose and a 5 technique defensive end. Coach Mays talks about lining that nose a lot of times in a 2-eye technique based on ability. I'm sure in high school you may want to get him there. I know I've done the same thing. When you're playing the XFL or in the NFL or at major colleges, it may not be necessary. You may have to stem him there, but either way, he should be able to get to be the contained rusher. Keys on the outlaw stunt: it's a B-gap stick by that defensive end and a nose guard wrap. The wide 5 technique is going to sell that speed rush. Okay, he's going to get upfield, sell the speed rush to the tackle. He's going to stick that outside foot in the ground and attack the outside shoulder of the guard. So that's his visual aiming point. The key is to get a 2-for-1. Okay, he wants to take that guard and that tackle inside, so he takes a 2-for-1 so that nose could wrap. And on the nose on the wrap, Coach Mays talks about the wrap should occur 1 step before the defensive end collisions the guard. It's a tight rip with the inside hand. Let's see if he does it here. Great plant by the outside foot by that defensive end. Okay, looks like he hasn't made contact with the guard yet. So that nose, now all of a sudden he drives that tackle in. Now that nose is able to loop. Inside pressure forces the quarterback to move out of the pocket. The nose is there to force the errant throw. Excellent job on the outlaw. On this next clip, we have what Coach calls a mix-it call, which is an outlaw by the nose and the 5 technique, and an in-law, which is a stunt used by the 3 technique and the defensive end to the strong side. Now, Coach Mays talks about that in-law. It's important to really get wide on that in-law stunt. He talks about taking that inside foot and lining it a foot outside the outside foot of that tackle. And what happens on the in-law stunt is that you're going to get a speed rush by that defensive tackle, hard upfield rush into the B-gap, into that V of the neck, becoming a contained rusher. That defensive end, now it's key on a coaching point here. What he's going to do is take a hard outside rush to get the tackle to kick slide. But he doesn't want to take 2 or 3 jab steps. I know coaches always talk about, sell the upfield rush. Coach Mays' coaching point on this is to not wrap unless he could physically reach out and touch the hip of the offensive tackle with his inside hand. I think that's an excellent, excellent coaching point. So a terrific upfield rush by that 3 technique. It's going to draw the guard's shoulders. And anytime you get an offensive lineman's shoulders turning, disrupting their parallel relationship with the line of scrimmage, it's a great thing, because you're going to see here it's going to open up a wide inside lane for that defensive end to come underneath, forcing a poor throw by the quarterback. We're going to have a ton here with a 3 technique and nose. I believe the nose does a great job here of using his hands first and looping around, switching gap responsibilities by the tackle. Good inside rush, turn the shoulders of the guard. Great job using the hands by the nose guard. It's important to note, Coach Mays talks about just another good coaching point by Coach Mays. He talks about If they're in a ton situation, you get that nose and tackle twist. If it's a run read, play your run gap. Don't vacate it. Only when you see pass to execute the stunt, which, by the way, Coach Mays has done a lot of this more comprehensively on www.thedefensivelinestudy.com. It's an excellent resource for not just defensive line coaches, but any coach that wants to inquire and learn more about the front four, the front three, and defensive line play. It's a terrific, one of the more comprehensive things that we've done at xnolabs.com. Coach Mays put that together at www.thedefensivelinestudy.com. Here's an in-law stunt, I believe, with a 3 and a 5 technique. To the right of the screen here, you got a hard upfield rush by that 3 technique. Okay, good outside foot plant by that defensive end. This is always a great picture when you get the guard turn. And these are professional football players. It's the XFL. These are professional players. So some of them were people that migrated down from the NFL or players that migrated, retreads, but they were still professional football players. And it's just a great job when you get offensive linemen's shoulders turned like that and you're able to make plays. There should be another outlaw coming. Excellent job. A 3 technique, hard upfield rush. He's a little wider than the last picture. Look at that. Great job selling the upfield rush, coming back inside by that defensive end. Clear picture at the quarterback. Terrific. This is going to be a ton stunt by the nose and 3 technique. Nose tightens his alignment. There's almost a 0 shade on the center. Which, again, ability alignment, if you have to do it, go ahead and do it. Make sure you switch gap. If you could switch gap responsibilities from there, do it. Quick inside rush by the 3 technique. Turns the guard shoulders. And here comes that nose to make the sack. Again, this is great scheme for teams that like to man protect along the offensive line. Great. Anytime you get one-on-one, you got those twists going. It's going to confuse the offensive line. You're going to get in advantageous situations. Here's a mix-it call. We got in-law and outlaw. Looks like we got the 5 and the shade technique here. Here's a 2-eye technique here, working the outlaw. Then you have a 3 and a 7 technique working the in-law. A lot of coaches call this the me or you stunt. Excellent hard upfield rush. I really love this stunt. And what I like about it, a lot of times the back is going to step outside because some man protection teams, that back's either going to dual read, step inside and outside. There's no one inside on the blitz. He's going to step outside, and sometimes he may not see that inside rusher. And if he does, sometimes it's too late. Great collapse on the quarterback. Good sack. It's a great pass rush there. Coaches, we appreciate your time, and we appreciate any feedback or comments or suggestions you may have at www.xandolabs.com. This is Mike Kuchar, and we appreciate your time and continue to research football. And if we could help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask us.